Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to this live at Menorca Consciousness Group chat with beautiful Stephen Rowlands. I'd like to thank Stephen for joining us on this chat. Thanks very much, Stephen. I've been looking forward to this conversation.
Mate.
Really looking forward to it. For those who don't know, Stephen is a medium, trance medium, healer, transfiguration expert, can we say?
I wouldn't say expert, learner, you know.
Well,
I'm learning everything. I'm learning all the time, Colin.
Yeah, you're so humble.
Be humble in service, the spirit teaching. There you go.
Correct.
Yeah.
I get it. So thank you so much. So just to let everybody know, we're going to be going on, I think, for about an hour or so. Is that right, Stephen?
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
Around that market, depending how it goes. So please, for anybody what is joining us, jump onto Menorca Consciousness Group, and then we're going to do a chat about spiritualism today, which I think is a really important subject and topic. And I've been really interested in hearing Stephen's take on all this, because you've got so much experience under your belt in so many different areas of spiritualism. It's quite broad, isn't it? We know it's like this huge umbrella.
Yeah.
So for those who are joining us, welcome. Please chat to us. Put any questions, any thoughts you want to share into the chat. But specifically, if you've got any questions, and I'll probably keep reiterating this as people join. Anyway, so I think we can just dive straight into it. If you want to tell us about yourself, Stephen, where did it all begin, and where are you at the minute?
Where am I at the minute? Well, hello, everybody. Good evening. It's sort of like a big, long story, but I will minimise down to 2 or 3 minutes. I've always been able to feel and sense spirit, and it got to the point in my teens where I felt that I needed God, and but the normal Orthodox churches didn't appeal to me. So I thought, what am I going to do? And I hadn't heard of the Spiritualist church then. And but I felt that I should find one anyway. I went working for hire service shops, and the electrician there was vice president of Manor Park Christian Spiritualist Church. And he started talking to me about spiritualism. And one night he invited me along to the church, and that's where it began, New Year's Day 1978. And I sat in 3 circles over a course of 3 years. The first circle, I fell into trance. That's another story. As I said, Colin, I'm going to try and keep this very, very short. But
it'll be difficult.
My spirit guide Zangu took me, and he channeled healing through me to a gentleman in the circle, and that began the trance healing journey. The second circle was really just not very good at all, and the third circle, because I had some weird and wonderful experiences and everything like that, leading up to joining Berenice Watts' circle, who was a trance medium. It was a general development circle and trance mediumship circle. And so I developed trance in there as well as mental mediumship. But talking of umbrellas, mental mediumship is a big umbrella as well. And January the 5th, 1983, I started demonstrating on platform in spiritualist churches. And my first service was at Manor Park Christian Spiritualist Church.
Oh, sorry, what year was that?
1978. No, 1983, sorry.
1983.
Yeah. I was nearly 23 years old. There you go. Yeah.
What's that? That's 42 years ago. Have I just got that right?
42 years ago. Yeah, I've been a trance healer 47 years and a platform medium 42 years. And that's basically, and I've been working off the knowledge of Berenice's circle for the past 42 years, and apart from what I've learned along the way.
Incredible. Yeah, 42 years. It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, a lot of people say to me, wow, 42 years, but it is a journey, it is a vocation.
Yeah.
You know, I think people have to take any form of spiritual service seriously.
Yeah.
I really do, you know, and it's a vocational thing, it's a life thing. I have this little joke, Colin, where I tell people that I've fallen off the pathway so many times that Spirit give me my own parachute. Because obviously I was a young man, you know what I mean, and I wanted to be a young man and all the rest of it, but I was serving Spirit 2 or 3, 4 times a week.
Yeah.
You know, and all the rest of it. So I went searching for other things, you know, like even as much as I didn't want to be normal, I found myself wanting normal things, you know, like a girlfriend, marriage, children, everything like that. But it never worked out. So that's why I kept falling off the pathway. And anyway, over the past 10 years, I've been solidly back on the pathway now, and I'm not leaving it. So there you go. Slightly off the track there, but never mind. Yeah.
No, perfect. No, brilliant. This is what it's about, isn't it? I love the diversity of everything in spiritualism. Just quickly say hello to Deborah. Hi, Deborah. Hi, Margaret and Sue. Thank you so much for joining us. If you've got any questions or any thoughts, guys, and to Lisa. Hi, Lisa. Lisa, yeah, over 40 years of service. That's beautiful. I love these stories, Stephen.
I've got loads of stories. I just feel like Max Bygrave sometimes. I want to tell you a story. You know what I mean? But my sort of like period of service or the period of time that I've been, you know, like working with Spirit, I've got loads of different little stories. And sometimes it will come up in conversation and I'll say, well, I'll tell you a little story about that. And, you know, from my own experience, you know.
Yeah.
And I think it takes conversation because my memory isn't what it is.
Yeah.
You know.
It's beautiful.
You know.
So we've got at this stage now, haven't we? I came in just quickly, and it's going to be quick. I came in around about 34, 35 years ago, and I had an experience of a certain nature. Bang, that was it. Everything changed. I'm playing it down massive, but that's where it is. And that's it. I haven't looked back since. This has been it every day, all the way through. It was like one life was up to that age, and then that life ceased to exist, and it's been this life ever since. What's interesting me, because I love the full spectrum of spirit and spiritualism.
Yeah.
I love the concept of, I mean, obviously mediumship has always been, I'm sure we'll probably agree on this, mediumship's always been the big carrot, what spirits dangled.
Yeah.
And then the healing aspect is there, and the trance aspect have played their roles. What do you think? What's your thoughts?
I don't necessarily agree with the big carrot, because going back to sort of like 1978, I just didn't know.
Yeah.
I'd sit there and watch the mediums on the platform, and I think I'd like to do that.
Yeah.
And that was it. But I was, on the other hand, I was always being told I was too young and stupid to know anything. All right, or be able to do it. You'll never be a medium and all that. But from my own experience and what I advise people to do is don't have any preset ideas of what you want to do.
Yeah.
People see mediums on the platform and, you know, it's the public side and it's sort of like they can get a glamorous view of it and all the rest of it. But they don't see, like myself and many other mediums coming home from work, knackered, shoving down a sandwich, jumping in the car, driving 100 miles, then doing a demonstration.
And I should imagine you've done them up and down the country as well, eh?
Yeah, I'll go all over the country demonstrating. But I for the pathway, don't have any I want to be a medium, I want to be a healer, I want to do this, I want to do that, because there's so many things you can do. Mediumship and healing have so many applications, different ways of using it, depending on our level of evolution and consciousness. But it's just a way of describing it quickly, in it, mediumship and healing. But just say, here I am, spirit, I want to serve, guide.
Yeah, that's what I totally agree. Totally agree.
Let them guide you down the path because they can see the bigger picture that we can't. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. No, sorry, I probably said it the wrong way. What I meant is like to the general public, because we've always seen this. Not everybody, but so many people want the message. They want a message, not the learning side of mediumship and becoming a mediumship.
Yeah.
And it's always seemed to me that the messages, receiving a message has been the big pull. That's what I meant by the carrot. And then,
yeah, I agree. Yeah,
it's like so many people, you know, whoever it is, get hooked on that carrot. And I always think spirit are behind the scenes laughing their heads off, saying, well, don't get, you know, too fascinated about that, because there's all this here, which is our own spiritual development, of course. And in that, and I totally agree with what you've just said, Stephen, totally. And I think it's one of the best pieces of advice for anybody, especially new people. Well, not just new people, actually. It applies further down the line as well. Not having any expectations. Let spirit guide you.
Yeah, I always consider myself as like a leaf on the breeze with spirit. They guide and they take me to wherever they feel I should be. I don't put anything, I want to be doing this and I want to be doing that and all the rest of it. Spirit know I'm there, and I'll let them guide. So if somebody comes along and says, do you want to do a service? Do you want to come and do a chat or whatever? I'll say, yeah, all right. You know, and because I know that's what spirit are guiding me to. But getting back to your previous point there's a lot more to spiritualism than proof of survival. Yeah. I think we've lost track of that, you know, and there's a lot more to mediumship than giving messages.
Yeah.
You know, I always refer to the teachings of Silver Birch. For those who don't know, Silver Birch was the spirit guide of trance medium Maurice Barbarell. And he had questions and answer sessions, and I've turned them into books now. And they're available on Amazon too, the teachings of Silver Birch. But he was asked one day, how can you teach me to be a psychic? How can you teach me to be a clairvoyant? Silver Birch replied, I cannot teach you those things, but what I can tell you is to love your neighbour as you would love yourself, and seek to serve and uplift whenever and wherever you can, and to express the will of the Great Spirit every day in your life. That is the highest form of mediumship. And that is so true. And if you go on from that, you know, with mediumship, healing, whatever we're doing is a pathway. So it's not only when we're up there like that on the platform,
digging away,
or channel healing, or whatever we're doing, it's about it's about just being nice, being kind, you know, being kind to yourself as well. That's important, because if you're not looking after yourself, you're no good to anybody or anything. But you know, be positive in your life, work for your own, and everything else is greatest highest good. And in that way, you're expressing the great the divine will of the Great Spirit, and that to me is far more powerful than a meeting coming along telling you that your grandmother used to eat salmon every Sunday. Great evidence, you know.
100%. I've always found, respectfully speaking, I've always found that messages or developing mediumship has got to go hand in hand with personal development and self-analysis. I mean, for me, I can only talk from, like we do, from my own personal experiences. When I came into spiritualism first off, the first thing I did, well, I was doing it prior to that anyway because of the experience, but every day, you know, and I still do it to this day, on an evening, I sit and I contemplate and I do self-analysis of what I said, what I was thinking, and my actions of that day, and how to kind of make sure that it's constantly, and I suppose this is the best way of saying, I don't know, make sure that it was as fully in tune with my own conscience, which is the difference between right and wrong, inside me, in conjunction with spirit. And I think it's a big point, because when people are developing the mediumship, and I'll ask you your thoughts, Stephen, to be honest. I think when people are developing the mediumship, previously what we used to see was people would come into the church, they'd be kind of in awe, etc. You know, they'd be loving it, they'd be enjoying it, and you know, feeling the light of the place, understanding to a certain degree in their way the philosophy and spiritual teachings, and they'd want to either get in a spiritual development group or class or awareness class or course in the church, and it was all about developing mediumistic abilities. Very little, a small percent, if it was mentioned, would be about our own self-development along parallel to our mediumship development. And I think that resulted in something. And I'm going to use a word. I think it resulted in ego during development, ego not being addressed and looked at. What I tend to think now, because it was like, okay, I want to be a medium, so I want to get these messages right, I want to do this for whatever reason, and we're talking about intentions. But none of the classes and courses were saying, okay, look guys, you need to check your ego along the path, you need to build your foundation, keep in tune with your own conscience, have that self-awareness and mindfulness to do some self-analysis on your own personal inner development regarding your own consciousness. What I like about today, where this shift has taken place, is so many more people are starting to heal themselves. Some people call it the shadow work, whatever it, you know, suits people.
Yeah.
And it's refreshing now to see so many people do some self-analysis. They want to, you know, clear whatever they're carrying within themselves and let go of it. And yet we've still got this concept going on where many people want to jump on the bandwagon of mediumship for whatever reasons they want to, whether it's selfish reasons, for the fame, the fortune, the money and attraction, etc., which I don't want to kind of go too far down that route, because we both know it's present. But what I see is the beauty in so much now people as they're developing. I know I can talk from our side, when I've been leading circles and courses, it's one of the mainstays what I put in there. I don't put it in, Spirit Inspire in there. It's like, okay, be mindful of your ego as you walk in this path. It's got to be, but you know, you've probably got a lot to chew on at that point. So, hi Barry, thanks for joining us. Hi Erica. So yeah, what's your thoughts on that, Stephen?
I remember a guide by Spirit Guide Lee, because Berenice's husband used to bring forward a spirit guide called Lee, and he works for me now. But he said, once you've had evidence of survival, then your journey begins. And that is the awareness of the universe, self-awareness, how everything works, you know, with the spirit realms, the communication between spirit and us. That love is the fabric of the universe, and just basically how it works, and how we are on this earth plane, because we are spirit, and we chose to come here to experience living through a physical and in a material world, and through this existence that we're in now, we encompass all emotions. And that is real spiritual development. It's not learning how to get a link with a guide or an evidential, you know, message from a loved one or a friend or anything like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's real spiritual development is in a journey so that you can vibrate on a higher level. Everything is energy, folks. I'm sure most of the people here know that. Everything is energy. We are energy. Okay. Yeah. We're on this earth plane to experience it to its full extent. And the point that my guides have been drawing me to say over the past year or so is your eternal life doesn't start when you pop your clogs. Your eternal life is now.
Yeah.
Yeah. You are spirit now, and you're living within and around a physical body in a material world. Make the most of this experience. When you're faced with a bad experience, look through the eyes of love. Ask yourselves the question, what is the most loving, kind, compassionate, forgiving, accepting way of dealing with this? Okay?
Absolutely.
And I was hearing this in 1978, 79, and the idea was, the way I was taught, spiritual development was to progress and to evolve, to vibrate on a higher level of frequency, so that we could communicate with higher levels of spirit.
Yeah.
And bring that knowledge with us.
Yeah. I totally agree with what you've just said there, Stephen. 100%.
Thank you.
I think that's the case, that we've come here to, I mean, I believe we've come here to put our light. We are light, so we're bringing that light by being present in this space, in this environment. Whether we call it the physical earth, and as we look at it, the planet, or whether we see it as a plane of existence, the earth plane, so to speak. But in so doing, 100% how you've just said it, I agree with you, that we are here to attempt to attain the highest vibration we can, expanding our awareness and communicating with the highest. And I know it's not always correct to say the highest, but I'm using it because of terminology at the moment. But the highest vibration of the spirit planes that we can, attune to.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I remember years ago at Luton Spiritualist Church in Cardiff Road. I was only in my 30s then. I was a mere boy, and
couple of years ago,
this guy walked up to me, and it was a divine service, so there was the address and then the messages and that. And he said to me, "That was such a high address, high spiritual address, but you put it so simply."
Yeah. Yeah.
I said, "Well, I've been taught that if I put it in a way that I can understand, everybody can understand it. It's no good me using all the jargon, and 3/4 of the people there don't know what I'm on about, because then it's wasted energy, isn't it?"
Yeah.
If everybody understands that,
yeah,
they can do with it what they will.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's but you know, I think the purpose of spiritualism, from what I understand from first starting out and first beginning to learn, through sitting in churches and talking to people, listening to mediums and all the rest of it, and listening to spirit as well, was basically the purpose of spiritualism, whichever form it comes, okay, because there's different versions of it around the world, is to raise the consciousness of the human race, to raise the vibration of the human race.
Yeah. This is the true, for me, this is the true essence of spiritualism. Yeah,
and I think those of us that do this, who serve spirit in whichever way we do, we've got to get in tune with that and get on it. Yeah. We don't have to go banging on people's doors and all the rest of it and putting big adverts out. We just need to do it by our example.
Yeah, which is what you do.
Yeah.
It's like I've seen when on your chats, you've sat there, you're open, it's all kind of flexible, and that is, for me, it's like living evidence of proof of playing the role to do what we've just, what you've just described. And I think that example, we do this chat now, and it's kind of, and we're joined by people, and all of us collectively are generating that light naturally. We're not even doing anything. We just happen to be waffling on, but with the light, it's the light what's more important for me. And spiritualism has always had that kind of underlying or hidden factor. It's not underlying, it's not hidden. It depends where the perception is, where you perceive and how you see it, which is mediumship is like the face and so many other things. The underlying factor behind the scenes, what I believe those in the world of spirit on all those beautiful planes of existence are constantly been trying to say to us, this is about shining your light and being spiritual, walking your talk and being authentic and having compassion as much as you possibly can for all souls, wherever they may be, and having that sense of humility and humbleness in, well, every area you possibly can of this existence, because I do believe that internally, in the light of, not internally, but in the light of our soul, we are humble beings, each and every one of us. It's there. Yeah. It's inherent. But I just, if it's okay, Steve, I just want to jump on. We're going to say hello to Alison and Annie. Hi, Annie. Hi, Alison. Thanks for joining us. Sue, I'm just going to ask if we can bring Sue's question up. Brilliant. How have you noticed mediumship change since you first began? And what changes do you feel are happening now and potentially in future in the wake of the powerful cosmic energies affecting us? There you go, Steve. There's a good question for you.
That's a really good question. Thank you, Sue.
Take your time and get your teeth into that one, Stephen.
Yeah, what teeth? Yeah. How have I noticed mediumship change? I think back in the day it was very vocational. We would allow spirit to guide us. There wasn't so much emphasis on mediumship as there is today, because so many people are saying how mediumship should be done. And there was a lot these days. There's a lot of emphasis on the 5 clairs, and people have contacted me and says, "Tell me how you develop the 5 clairs," and I've gone, "I don't know," like that, because they're not necessary. I possibly have about 2 of them, and I get little tastes of the other sort of like 3. So what I would say is, don't be put under pressure if you're developing. Don't be put under pressure by people who say you should be doing this and you should be doing that. You should have the 5 clairs. What matters is what's in your heart and your compassion, as Colin's been saying, okay, and developing the awareness that you had and fine-tuning it. Okay, a medium friend of mine, actually, the lovely Ashley Mills, she said to me, it's like the spiritual buffet. What it is, you've got your spirit guides, and there's a big table of food, and you walk up to it, and they say, try a bit of that, and you have a little nibble on it. That could be clairaudience. Okay, and you say, oh, I like that. Right, we'll teach her that. Right, and then have a little nibble on that. Have a bite of this sandwich. Oh, that's clairsentience. Oh, I don't like that. All right, we'll put that to one side for a little while. Yeah, and they try different things out with you. Remember, spirit learning to communicate with us as much as we're learning to communicate with them. But as Colin says, you have to have that humility. And why do people panic if they get a guide change? Sorry, sir, I'm getting on my soapbox.
Oh, yeah. Let's come back to that one. I've grabbed that. We'll come back to that one.
I just feel because we're living in the internet age and everything like that, everybody can share their opinions, like me and Colin are doing now. But some people are downright rude about it, which I'm against. You should be doing this and you shouldn't be doing that. Just walk that path, work that journey. Okay, be like a monk. Just follow that path in humility and service, even when you're sitting in circle. All right.
Yeah.
And let spirit guide you. I don't know about cosmic energies. All right, that isn't my area of knowledge. But I was speaking to somebody the other day that was talking about the power of planets and how it affects us, and it's all to do. It's all working with the realms of spirit and everything like that. So, but I think, and my guides have spoken of an awakening coming on, but it has to get worse before it gets better.
Yeah.
If you see what's going on in the world now, it's not very good, is it?
No.
But and people are going to thinking there must be something better than this. Okay. And that's just on the world stage. Within spiritualism, whichever way it's practiced, and I don't want to go down this route, but I've spoken to a couple of other mediums, and they want mediums to be paid a fair wage. And I got into an argument and said, well, I wouldn't demonstrate in a pub or a club. All right. Because people are basically in varying states of inebriation.
Yeah.
And, there will be there that'll come take the Michael and all that. So I'd rather be in a hall somewhere or a church, and but I just think people are getting back. There's more to this. I think people want to become more spiritually aware, and that's where I think the spiritualism of my day can really, really help, because there was that teaching, that life teaching, that journey of the spirit teaching, and all the rest of it to enhance your mediumship or your healing or whatever you're doing. And I think people in general are turning more to a spiritual way of life, a more spiritually aware life, and I think that's brilliant, whether they go through spiritualism or another route, because many paths up the mountain, but it's the same view at the top. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a big question, Sue, and I hope I've answered it for you. Yeah,
thank you so much, Stephen, and thank you for the question, Sue. Because just jumping on that, then we'll come to the spiritual guide bit. Obviously, seeing, it's almost as if mediumship hasn't changed. Which I don't think it has, because it's always had them fundamentals of trying to communicate with the spirit world. That's kind of held steady. I think what we've seen is different approaches to it. Of course, in the last 5 years, there's a lot to unravel here, isn't there, really? Because without opening it up too far, it's like previously, before the internet, you had to go to a centre, you had to go to a spiritualist church to develop, generally speaking. Because it wasn't global like it is. Then we got the internet and lots of different teachings and spiritual stuff put on there. I remember, I used to say to people, it's like, if you're a member of your local church years ago and you wanted to develop, without sounding boring to people, if you wanted to develop, it would be, you had a choice of an open circle, or if you was in a class or a course, normally they would run for about 12 weeks. That was your opportunity to develop your mediumship once a week over a period of 12 weeks. And if they carried on and you got in the next group, you was lucky. Whereas I think what we've got now, I absolutely love what's happening. I've got to confess, I love it, because the main thing is more people are finding spirit and becoming more spiritual on one side of the fence. And this business of social media, internet, etc., Zoom meetings, they can jump in and out Zoom meetings all week long now and learn in a month what was taking previously would take 6 months, 12 months, 2 years to learn. Like, to grab the information, not to embody the information, but to grab the information. That fascinates me, because it's like, boom. I was looking at one, I don't know, before Christmas. I don't know if TikTok or one of the other things. Young girl, she's in her 20s, early 20s, 250,000 followers, spewing about the clears and and all these different things. Well, and that was just one person. And there's millions around the world doing it right now. And you go, okay. So we've gone from learning in a church once a week on a Tuesday evening or Friday or whatever it was, and looking forward to the next one, going in, watching the mediums at the weekend or whatever it was, maybe going sitting in the healing, during the week, to, okay, I'm being bought totally. It's like the whole place is flooded, saturated with spiritual knowledge and spiritual teachings. What's interesting is how people are kind of catching it and absorbing it, and the way they absorb it and the way they bring it back out and share it. There's so many layers to that one. Fascinating.
It is, it's like a sword of Damocles. On the good side, COVID, we all went online. everything like that. And the good side of it is, spiritualism, British spiritualism went around the world, and and it's like me, mine and Pat's little healing thing that we do once a month. There was a minister on there from Australia, and so you can reach out across the world. That's the beautiful thing about it.
Yeah.
But on the other end of it, there's lots of people, not only through the internet. It's just before COVID and before we all went online, spiritualism was being classed as a spiritual industry, and lots of people making money out of it, and that's where I think we're going wrong.
Yeah, I think we're. Yeah, sorry, Stephen, go on.
Yeah, I just think we do, because if the emphasis comes on money, then it's not on spirit, it's not on service, and it's not about bringing upliftment.
Yeah,
I was just taught right from the beginning, the point of mediumship is to uplift and heal and comfort.
Yeah.
And to teach.
Yeah, to share them teach.
Yeah. Well, when it's monetized, what becomes more the focus, the money, or actually, being in service and helping out.
It's that classic debate, isn't it? The spiritualism has always had certain topics what has always been constantly debated. This is one of them, isn't it? Do you charge for a reading? How much do you charge? Are you going to be judged for charging? What do you do? Are you working? Are you not working? Etc. Etc. There's all these layers. I tend to what I've done, Stephen, from the beginning, and for me, I just leave. There's an acceptance inside me. It's like people are doing what they're doing, and I accept that. And it's their path, it's their journey. We know that, and I've got total respect. I mean, I'll give you an example. Yesterday, I was aware somebody in America, I'm going to say this, but it's come up, was charging something like $1,600 for 1 hour reading.
That's ridiculous. Absolutely obscene. Yeah.
And it's like, so I'm looking at this, and I've always been of this nature. It's like, okay. So then I think, okay, well, I don't know the circumstances. Maybe they're giving some of it to charity, and it's benefiting others or whatever. And it's like, and all of a sudden I just thought, it's irrelevant, Colin. It's nothing to do with you. Keep to your path again, as always. But I like to kind of entertain my mind by observing and looking at it. I've got to say, on one note, you was kind of where we was going, and that is, the way spiritualism in a certain area at the moment, messages, the quality of messages, the standard of messages, the money being involved in it, the fame, what some people, of course, we live in that world where people chase fame, some people, and the one, like followers, I've got so many followers, I need more, feed me something. And it's like, and whichever way I look at it, I've always stood in that centerpiece and thought, leave them be. It's about here, isn't it? It's always about the work we're doing as an individual, and now we can be of benefit to other sentient beings. And that keeps me in a beautiful, safe space, because I'm not taking that external stuff on board. I'm observing it, I'm aware of it. I know I haven't got the right to judge, so that doesn't apply anyway. It just keeps the mind in such a beautiful space. Otherwise, the mind's going to get distracted by what's going on in the internal, again, the external. But if it's all right, I'd like to jump to this spiritual guide stuff, what you touched on.
Yeah, can I just say, there's a meme that I post now and again, and it says basically, it matters not the lights that shine on you. What matters is the light that shines within you.
There you go.
And that's it in a nutshell.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I know there's people thinking, and I talk to them and see them when I watch them, listen to them, where it's not fair. I don't want to say it's fair, but there's some minds what's been in spiritualism often a number of years, and they can kind of see that spiritualism is in a certain ways taking a certain route in that respect. And I always think, and I get it and I respect it totally, but I always think maybe all of it is just part of this change, what's happening, what Sue mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
It's like everything we do is obviously, it's happened. Everything what everybody else is doing, it just is, so to speak. So you go, okay, where does this leave us? Because this is kind of guiding us into that inner light of our own awareness, I should imagine. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think we have to think in terms of evolution. No matter how much people, me myself included, may moan about the situation, the present within spiritualism, there's a hell of a lot of good about it too.
Yeah.
No, and it's, you know, so somebody said I was doing another chat and while I was listening to somebody else's chat, I thought, oh, I'll see what he's like because he's interviewing me next week. And he made the statement that the newer mediums are far outstripping the older mediums. And with what they're bringing through and leaving the older mediums behind, which I think is total rubbish.
Yeah,
I would do because I'm an older medium, but I thought, and your point earlier, yes, people are looking for different aspects, different ways of working, because everybody's trying to find their niche to be different.
Yeah.
To monetize.
Yeah.
Giving themselves nicknames, having little gimmicks or whatever, but I'm not saying that. There are some fine young mediums. Because remember, when I first started out, I was an oddity. Nobody'd seen a 22, 23-year-old man on the platform before.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, it's now there's quite a few going around, and I love it. And the best of British luck. And I really, but, and there's one that I know of. He sees pictures on like a TV screen, and Spirit will put like full names up on it and all the rest of it. Yes, it's all very highly evidential. The rest of it is just a different way of communicating. It doesn't mean that they're any better or any worse than the rest of us.
Yeah. I think funny because I'm going to jump on that point with you because brilliant. This comment. I haven't seen any modern day mediums yet, and I look at a lot, what have shown or indicated to me that they're anywhere near better and producing, not better, not they're better, I don't mean that way, that they're producing more accurate and precise information than what I saw previously, even before the internet, even before Zoom meetings was coming. The best mediumship I've seen was before the internet and Zoom meetings came. What I am seeing, I'm seeing some very potentially is a word I'll probably use, exceptional mediums around the world. I'm seeing that, and there is some good evidence. There's no question about it. But I think everybody, for me, it's like everybody just needs to calm down when they make them comments and just go, we can't. It's a bit like, comparing let's put it in another way. In a fight between Muhammad Ali and Mike Tyson for the heavyweight championship, asking the question now, who would win? You've got no chance of answering it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
No chance because it didn't take place. So we can't say today's mediums are giving better evidence than previous mediums.
That's right.
That's a very interesting comment. I'd like to have a conversation with that one because I know, and you're a medium yourself. Over the years, you've probably been shocked on so many occasions how precise the information's been. What's come through you for somebody?
Yeah, they're what I call wild messages, Colin. Sometimes I'll say something, or sometimes Spirit will give me something, and I'll go, no, I can't give that. I don't believe it, and all the rest of it. And yet Spirit will push me until I do come out of it, and the person go, and like that, and I'll go, wow. Yeah,
I think what we're looking at here is it's something what none of us should be doing, and that's comparing.
I agree. I mean,
Shouldn't be any comparison.
To me, in my own experience, the most meaningful and evidential messages I've been given to give to other people have been the simplest.
Yeah, always, isn't it?
You know, like the man, like this lady's father was giving a message through me to her, and he showed me himself laid out in a coffin, but he had chopsticks in his top pocket of his jacket. And she went like that, because apparently he loved his Chinese, so she put some chopsticks in his top pocket to take with him, you know.
Yeah.
Put them in his pocket, in his casket, you know, and that simple little thing.
Yeah, and this is it, isn't it? This is one. I think what we're looking at. Years ago, you only had. I mean, England. We know. I'm going to say it. England has been absolutely spoiled rotten as far as spiritualism is concerned, with churches and centres up and down the country for the last 50 years. Say you go about the last 30 years, flooded. And in comparison to, I mean, years ago it used to be Angels was the big thing in America, but nowhere near. There's no other country what's got anywhere near the amount of spiritualist churches what England has got. And and yet when we look at the internet and Zoom meetings and classes, you know, everything what's on Instagram, TikTok, the lot, there should be some really good mediums, because the number of people involved in spiritualism now is probably 1,000 times more than what there ever was.
Yeah. You know, but I think we're all involved in one way or another. We all have our beliefs. But what was I going to say? You know, it's completely gone. I'm sorry, Colin, but I was going to make an important point there, and it's gone. But
we know we'll come back. I'm just going to ask everybody, if you've got any questions or any thoughts to everybody who's joined us. Thank you so much for joining us. As you know, we've got Stephen Rowlands here joining us. Thank you, everybody. If you've got any thoughts, questions, just put them in the chat. Spiritual guide, Stephen. When there's a changeover with somebody's spiritual guides, how should they manage that?
They should embrace it, all right, because it comes down to your attunement. Okay, you shouldn't stand there panicking, you know, because 9 times out of 10, you know, especially for a platform medium, you know, all of a sudden a different energy will come in that you're not used to, and they'll be communicating to you in a way that you're not used to. It comes down to your attunement. And I'm always saying to people, once you can interpret vibration, you've basically cracked it. You know?
Interesting.
So attune yourself to the vibration of what they're saying, of how they feel. Because, you know, back in my day, we used to be able to give messages from guides, you know, and as well as loved ones. It's been sort of like outlawed to a certain degree. Yeah. This is another thing, Sue Townsend, where I've noticed a change, you know, because, you know, you get messages from mum, dad, granddad, whatever. Then you get your Native American guide and all the rest of it. But, you know, because guides come to guide. Yeah. And to me, a guide's coming along and saying, I can see this is happening in your life, and telling you what's happening in your life. You know, and this is what I think how you can overcome it. Yeah. And that to me is just as evidential. Don't shoot me, but that's what I think.
No, right? I'm the same. I'm the original rebel.
No, but on a mediumship, yeah, for the media, I've had so many people go, oh, I had a new guide come in and I didn't know what to do. Don't embrace it. Just use your attunement, because you're talking on levels. Yeah. Yeah. Right. And this is something that isn't taught these days. Yeah. You're talking on levels of spirit as well. So we're talking to, I don't know, somebody's granddad and all the rest of it. You know, next minute you're talking to a high guide. Yeah. Yeah, and they're all on a different level of consciousness and understanding. Yeah. So you've got to be prepared to go up and down the levels of understanding to communicate the message, and that comes down to your attunement. So work on your attunement, folks.
Totally agree. Yeah, absolutely. As far as, because a big thing for me, I mean, obviously, written a book on spiritualism, been in it how many years? I mean, them comments are really irrelevant. But I suppose what I'm saying is, I've always loved the teachings. I absolutely love the teachings. I call them teachings. In effect, it's knowledge, it's information. And that's been the big pull for me. And to study deeply, profoundly, all the different areas of whatever's came up, find out exactly what each topic or area is about, and experience it firsthand. Not just to find it out, but to feel it and sense it. And so, because that's just the way this has kind of functioned. And there was limitations on previously. I agree with you. For me, it was like, okay, if I'm doing a reading, I've got a guide here, and I follow the instructions of the guide. If I'm doing a message, recipients is sitting there, and the guide will say, and this happened recently, funny enough, and the guide appeared, I'd given 2 bits from other family members, and then the guide just went woof in. He went, let them know I'm here, Colin. Okay, I've got your guide here. I want you to know that they're here. That person had been waiting. They'd had an issue in their own mind, bless them, regarding what was happening with the guide and themselves, and he just settled it straight away. There was nobody what would tell me in that respect, and it's not because I would be rude or ignorant to people. I would listen to people, but they weren't going to tell me how to do this. The Spirit can tell me, because I've always believed is once we get to those, and for me, Stephen, it's about what you've just described, getting to those higher vibrations, those higher frequencies, because there's a pure intelligence up there. There's a truth. They see a lot clearer and a lot further than what we do. We know this, and this leads on to something else, if I can quickly. This is and it goes back again to what Sue. There was something Sue mentioned, and that is cosmic energies. In working with spirit in such a capacity, or whatever capacity it is, and understanding to a certain degree, it's like. Because we know nothing at the end of the day, don't we? It's one of them. It's like, the more we know, the more we realise the little we know. It's that.
Yeah.
But for me, I think the spirit planes and these other planes of existence, which I kind of do workshops and courses and things on it, are now really converging and blending together. So we've got those. What we call, well, refer to our family, friends, and loved ones, and the spiritual guides and the higher planes, etc., converging with what I'll just keep it briefly, cosmic beings, so to speak.
Yeah.
And it's almost like what they're saying, due to the change on the planet, is look, we're around you now, and it's doing something in spiritualism. And I don't know why I've got to mention this, because it's mentioned quite recent. But it's doing something to spiritualism. And I think what it's doing is you've now got channels, more channels than there ever was, where they're trying to communicate. Individuals now are trying to attune themselves to these higher vibrations, whether it's the spirit planes or whether it's other dimensions where cosmic beings are. And they're trying to fit in that space called spiritualism. And
you've got a point there.
They're not always welcome. Yeah, go on.
Colin, a medium is a universal communicator. Whether it's, bringing a message through from granddad, spirit guides, angels, if you're on other planets or cosmic beings, whichever term you want to put it, multi-dimensional beings from another universe or whatever. We should be developing that, because mediums are universal communicators, and all of this will be communicated in accordance with the need.
Yeah, I like that term, what you've just described it. I love that term, Stephen. Universal communicators.
Well, that's right. Yeah, it's not just about bringing granddad and mum and dad through. As much as I love doing that, don't get me wrong, folks, but because it can really bring some upliftment. But you've got to be able to learn and develop and attune to be able to speak to, to be able to talk on all levels, or as many levels as you possibly can, because we're only here 80, 90 years. But,
blink of an eye, innit?
Yeah. Getting to Sue Townsend's question, it hasn't really changed because, the whole teaching is love. All right. And can I tell a story, Colin?
Yeah, please do. Let's hear it.
I used to run a circle at Woking Spiritualist Church, and anyway, through circumstances, I changed my job, and I couldn't run the circle, so I handed over the circle to another medium. And I used to pop in from time to time to see how it's going. And anyway, I went along this one night, and Kevin, the medium, said to me, he said, "You ain't going to sit there and do nothing. You can take the meditation." I said, "Kevin, I just wanted to sit here and be a part of it, but no." So I asked my spirit guide, Jerome, who's a Franciscan monk, I said, what should a meditation be about? And he said, ask them to draw white light and love from the source and put it in through the top of their heads and fill their hearts with love. So we done that, all right? And then I interpreted it afterwards, and they all felt the interconnectedness with all things and everything like that. And they could be everywhere at one particular point in time, and everything like that. So really positive results. My Jerome come along and gave me a poem, and I wrote it down, and I've entitled it Love. And anyway, what happened several years later, I put that poem Love on my group page, and a lady shared it to Jason Dean Rothwell's page. He's going, "Oh, that's lovely," and all the rest of it. And this medium turned around and says, it's when spirit are speaking out of the cabinet, which is just what they speak for me in the cabinet, it's always about the same subject, love. All right?
Yeah.
And Jason Dean Rothwell turned around and sort of said, well, that is basically everything stems from love, and that is the basic teaching. Until we progressed on that journey of love, all of us, the human race, but
totally
but as I said, spirit communicate in accordance with the need, and they will talk on them levels. They are talking more about the journey of the spirit, the journey of the soul, and about us fearing our, being too engrossed in our own mortality at the moment. But it changes in accordance with the need.
Go on. Sorry, Stephen, go on.
Yeah, what my guide's been doing is, because they love people to ask them questions that they can answer, and it's not, when am I going to sell my house and all this? Will I buy a new car? And go and see a psychic if you want that.
Yeah.
All right. But getting whoever wants to ask the question next to the cabinet so the guide can form an energetic link with them. Okay, the person asks the question, about their spiritual development, their life path, and my guide's been answering them and telling them about past lives, bringing their loved ones through the lot. So it's changed in that way. So,
do you on the subject of trance, Stephen? Do you see it regularly? Is it weekly, monthly, or is it just as and when?
As and when. The last time I sat weekly for trance was in Circle in 1979, 1980. Right, but and then from there it was just years of platform work, and then one day I was at Walton Spiritualist Church doing readings for them, and another medium, Joanne, come up to me and said, "My guides are telling me you should be doing more transfiguration and trance." So I started sitting again, not regular.
Yeah.
And then COVID hit, and of course I'm there doing a Facebook Live, and another medium said, "Well, why?" I'm talking about trance. Said, "Why don't you do a Facebook Live?" And I believe I'm the first person to do a Facebook Live trance.
Wow.
Transformation trance.
Wow.
And it just people kept asking for it, so I kept doing them. Then Zoom came in and done it on Zoom. And then when we got out of lockdown, churches started booking me for trance as well as platform.
Yeah, okay.
And I'm doing more trance this year, demonstration-wise. I've done 2 demonstrations already, 3 demonstrations, I think, already.
Really? Yeah. Well, it's interesting, isn't it? Because it's clear since, I mean, there's just a huge surge in interest in trance. The 2 big ones at the moment, what's coming forward.
Yeah, I've got my
and I think we're just going to see it over the next 12 months, 2 years, is trance and channeling. And I think it's because Spirit want to transmit the teachings about love as much as they possibly can.
Oh, yeah, there's that, but it's become very popular.
Yeah.
Whereas back in my day, it was a specialist thing.
Yeah, that's right.
And it was, you know, if you were like chosen by Spirit to become a trance channel. Okay, like I said, I just fell into it.
Yeah.
You know, but now it's become very popular. People have got to realise not everybody can do trance. And people are making a lot of money by doing trance workshops. You know, and without, and you have to have controls, you know, you have to have safety with trance.
Yeah.
And I'm hearing some horror stories, you know what I mean?
Yeah, go on, sorry. Yeah.
But, you know, it's I back in the day, trance mediums used to demonstrate regularly on the platform. There was one beautiful medium, Olive Tomlinson. She used to have a French nun come through her. And she used to walk up and down in the control of this French nun guide, speaking in broken English, and she'd tap somebody on the shoulder and give them a message. And that was amazing to me, sort of 17, 18 years old, you know.
Yeah.
But
I think I'm just going to jump in, if I may, because I always, and this is for everybody who's listening. I mean, everybody probably most know this anyway, and they know my thoughts on this. But for those what might listen, you know, to the recordings, I always kind of suggest, I don't want to say advise, but it's not for me to advise, but I kind of suggest that people have a degree of caution when they're watching trance with specific minds, or, you know, any mind, and just be kind of mindful that it might not be trance as in trance, you know, is understood that it should be in the way it should be. Because what I'm seeing is a lot of people are saying, you know, I'm in trance. Not yourself, obviously. I'm on about, you know, what's out there at the moment in the space at the moment, saying, I'm in trance, I'm a trance medium, etc. And you sit and listen to them and you go, no, what you're doing is you're just going into a slightly altered state of awareness. You're talking from a slightly nicer, purer frequency of your own mind. Yeah. And you're convinced that that's coming from a discounted soul in spirit or a cosmic being, and it's not. It's coming from your own mind, and maybe a little bit further than that, you know. But so I always kind of chuck that into people and just go, just be, and it's not knocking anybody, because we want to encourage everybody to go into trance and want to encourage everybody, you know, to go into channeling. For me, I do anyway. I love encouraging anybody. Everybody should be encouraged to do all this.
We just want to make sort of like, in my own opinion, and not everybody can do trance. And if you do go into trance, make sure it's with a very knowledgeable, powerful medium that's teaching it.
Correct.
And not just some Joe that's sort of like doesn't know the art of it. Because trance can be very dangerous.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I mean, for you as well as, you know what I mean, and you've got to know what you're bringing through. I mean, you know,
we could go on. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, no, I don't want to get on my soapbox again, Colin, because
you know,
no. But
it's all right. I'll do it for you.
You know,
I'll do it for you. No, I'm joking.
Right.
I'm joking. It's because I think this comes down to the development again, and it's trying to inspire those what channeling and going into trance, or is for the individual themselves to question themselves and question where they are, question how close spirit's in, how much their mind is, you know, to one side, whether their mind is contaminating the information what's coming through, or and it's involved in it, etc. And I just think individuals what are sitting, I mean, I'm talking from a personal point of view. I question everything, but this is the one I question more than anything else. I question Colin, and not in a negative way, to make any improvements I can possibly find what's going to get my mind out of the way and get spirit in as close as possible for them to speak. That's where I do that self-analysis. And I think, you know, on this little quick note, that's, I don't know, there's wisdom in it for me. But quickly, yeah, go on, Stephen.
Yeah, what people have got to realise is that there's many different levels of trance. People have set ideas of what trance should be, but there's many different levels of control in that trance.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, I do agree with you, Colin, that there are people that are just, it's another aspect of themselves coming through.
Yeah.
You know.
That's right, yeah.
Whereas my spirit guide Red Cloud says seeing is believing. So if they can see the transfiguration, it must be somebody else.
Yeah.
Getting to your point, you know, any form of mediumship, particularly trance, you have to remove the self.
Mm. Yeah.
Yourself has to step to one side, and you have to be prepared to give spirit total control of you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I think one of the reasons why
selfless.
It's almost like spirit. I know what they're doing. When we have these conversations and this kind of topic and that kind of area comes up, it's almost as if we dare approach it because we don't want to offend anybody and, you know, blah, 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 blah. But, however, I think what's happening is spirit are trying to protect the most vulnerable minds, what's coming into spiritualism, who don't know what trance is. And so they go, right, just, you know, don't believe everything you see, first off. You know, just protect yourself a little bit. Go in with an open mind. If it feels, if it feels intuitive, that somebody's in trance and you think it's spirit and you've got that awareness that it is, then go with it. If you've got a question mark or a doubt, have a look at it, go back and check it again. I think trying to protect a lot of people. What go on, sorry.
I mean, Spirit Guide Lee gave a talk one night years ago about an open mind being your greatest tool. You know, and ought to always keep an open mind. But, you know, spirit are very aware of how impressionable some people can be.
Yeah.
And some people hang on every word of spirit and everything like that. And so they will say it in a way that can help the person or persons,
you
know, without leading them down any wrong paths. It's sort of like spirit are very clever how they do it.
Just if I can, just these last couple of questions, Stephen. Annie Claire, thank you, Annie. Do you feel spiritualism has become more showbiz? There is a pressure for performance.
I've been waiting to answer this one, Colin. Hello, Annie.
Well, the floor's yours.
When I first stepped out onto the platform, nobody trained me. Remember, I was 23 years old. I was a shy little boy of 23 years old, right? Nobody trained me how to present on the platform. And I just sat there. My guides were with me, and my guides, in their own little way, said, go for it. So I went out there. It was a divine service, address, messages, and it started off. But then I found people were laughing. And I thought, I didn't say what I said weren't funny. Like that. But I realised that my extrovert personality, my more extrovert personality was coming out. You know what I mean? And, you know, and people were latching on to that and people were listening. Obviously, you've got to be, you know, you've got to have it interested in the address so people will listen. And speaking as a 42-year medium, the first message is the important one, because if that's a good message, everyone will prick up and listen.
Yeah.
All right, that's just boots on the ground stuff. But it has become more show busy. People are looking for their gimmicks and everything like that.
Yeah.
But they're the ones that are more in tune with fame and money. Okay. Spirit likes something about you that they want you to They want to work through you, and that's your personality. There's something about you that they love. So allow that personality to come out, and spirit will work with it. So if people are laughing or they listen or anything, it's the monotone mediums where people fall asleep and all the rest of it, you know. But maybe there's a pressure, not so much in the churches and the centres. Well, not so much in the churches, but in the centres, definitely. All I do, Annie, is I'll just go out there and I'll be myself. And I'll just tell people what spirit are telling me. You know, and all you can do as a medium is just be yourself. When you try to be something else, that's when it all goes wrong.
Yeah.
That answers your question, Annie.
Yeah. Thank you, Annie. Brilliant question. I mean, I actually, again, took a one-liner in or whatever it is. It's definitely, there's an element, there's an area where it has become a bit more showbiz. Thankfully, not too much, but it's clearly there. I think it's due to, because often I always think, well, what's the root cause of all this? You know, if there's a situation, whatever it is, it's like go to the source of it, which is we ain't got time to go into it now. But part of it, I believe, is because the mind has been under this system, what we're governed by on the planet. The mind is kind of conditioned to look to the external, again, to feed the insecurities within. So, and that applies on so many levels. And what's happening with mediumship and in areas of spiritualism is the same thing. You know, if you looked at Hollywood and places like this, the movie industry, you know, singers and all this lot, you know, the people are going, you know, it's almost like blinded by the light. I want to do that. Okay, I've got an ability to do, you know, either psychic messages or messages from spirit. Okay, I'm going to use it to get that and attain that, you know. And some of them, and I'll say it, some of them are saying, you know, misguidedly, I believe, well, spirit's telling me I've got to do this. You know, it's like, really? Sorry. On many occasions, I don't think they are. I think it's their own mind and their own, coming from their own grasping of the need for their own attention. Okay, there's going to be some, without naming names out there, what's been famous over the years, and I think they were selected to do that by spirit. But now we're seeing too much. Don't say too much. It's happening. Thankfully, it's only in a small handful of people.
I can't believe one or two mediums have fan clubs and all this thing. We're not rock stars.
Yeah.
You know, we're not famous actors or rock stars or anything like that.
Yeah. I saw a famous medium who had a lot of gadgets, but was the most unempathic, unprofessional medium. I went to the local church and paid 5% of the theatre price and got non-egoed, pure love messages. Thank you for your answer, Stephen. There you go.
And that, Annie, because I always tell people, never mind £40-50 to get into a theatre to see a celebrity medium. Go down to your local church or centre. You'll see just as good. Because spirit work through the heart and spirit work on the vibration of love, and so should the medium be.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, brilliant. Rock and roll, Annie. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Can we answer Deborah's question?
Yeah. Are we okay? Have we got time? I know we're stepping over time. I mean, I'm okay.
I'll just say very quickly, trance is a state that the medium has to be in. The spirit communicator steps into the aura. All right. And the channeling is just the communication or the energy that that spirit are putting through, and the medium's in a trance state to facilitate that spirit communicator. The channeling is what the spirit communicator says or does through that entranced medium. I hope that explains it as well.
Yeah,
it's quite simple, really, Deborah. Yeah.
Yeah. I see. I've always, because it's funny, isn't it? Because trance, I've always, the same as you, Stephen, I thought, well, that's where, you know, a discarnate soul, so to speak, spirit, step into the aura and start communicating, getting close. The medium's mind is generally out of the way. I'm hesitant to say deep trance because it will open up all sorts. And I think channeling is something slightly different, even though we can put it, everybody's a channel, we know that, so we can't dismiss anything. But the channeling of what's coming around at the moment, I suppose to simplify it, we could almost say, and please be flexible with this, Debbie, trance is when somebody from the world of spirit comes through, who we assume or perceive as somebody who's taken the transition or spiritual guide on the other side of life, on the spirit planes, comes through and communicates. Whereas channeling has previously been known, and this is changing, this is why I want the flexibility. Previously, channeling was known as cosmic beings coming, attuning to minds, and certain minds having the ability to ascend, to make that attunement and transmit information. So there's always but now what we've got is a convergence. It's getting interesting now because they're starting to come together, and it's like, okay, which is which, guys? So I find this a fascinating subject.
Yeah, well, a communicator has to vibrate on a more earth vibration to be able to come to us, to be able to communicate. So there's all that going on.
Yeah,
they have to become more physical. They have to have a more physical vibration to, communicate. To come down to our level, basically.
Brilliant. Thank you, Debbie. Brilliant question, Stephen. Right then. So, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure.
I've really enjoyed it. Can't tell you how much. Do you want to tell us, have you got anything, what's coming up? Anything where people can...
Well, I'm demonstrating at Uxbridge, House of the Good Shepherd. I'm demonstrating at Uxbridge. I'm doing a trance at Cadoxton Spiritualist Church. I forget that, but when that is. I think it's in April. Hang on it. For anybody who's... I'm doing Aberdare Spiritual Church, 27th of April. I'm just got loads. I'm doing an understanding mediumship workshop at Southampton. When's my next trance? I'm sure it was April. Right, 18th of April. For anybody in Wales, South Wales, I'm demonstrating trance at Cadoxton Spiritualist Church.
Yeah, everybody, jump on that one.
Yeah. Other than that, it's just all demonstrations. I've started doing workshops. Please understand that workshops are an insight into something. Don't do a workshop with me, then think you're super medium. Or I do a, what's its face? Working with your spirit guides, workshop. I'm going up north on tour. Call it a tour. See, this is a showbiz element of it, but I called it the Northern Light Tour. I've done 4 services up north last year, and I've just called it Northern Light this year. But doing a trance in Wigan. There you go. That'll be my second trance in Wigan. Connections of Light I'm serving. Clitheroe Spiritualist Church I'm serving. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Amazing. So they can find everybody they can find you. Which is the best one? Is Stephen Rowlands or Eternal Path?
Eternal Path is my spiritual page, and all you got to do is find it on Facebook. Yeah. And make a request to join. Say that you've seen me and Colin speaking tonight, and I will allow you to join if you'd like to. I've written 2 books. If I can mention that, Colin.
Yeah, I was just coming to them. Have you got the books there with you, Stephen?
No, not with me. I'll have to run out to boot in my car.
That's all right.
One's called Messenger, and that's about my spiritual development and my early years with spiritual poetry. And the other book is Reflections, and that's my complete collection of poetry. And that's with more personal poems as well as spirit guided poems. and they're both available on Amazon.
Brilliant. So there you go, everybody. Have a look. Find Stephen's books on Amazon. Messenger and Reflections, Stephen Rowlands. Brilliant, absolutely amazing. Anything else, Stephen? So
that's it. I meet some of you out on the road.
Yeah. Oh, well, right. It'd be nice. Well, I've really enjoyed it. I hope you'll come back and join us again, Stephen.
Yeah, just send us an invite, mate.
Because I think there's so much. I think there's so much we can get our teeth into. I'm just going to plug something. I just make a couple of announcements. Talking of books, if anybody's interested, I'm sure one or two. I think one or two has got it anyway. There's a book here which is, as you can see. Can you hear me okay? A to Z Index of Spiritualism, a guide to psychic and spiritual development. Yeah, you can find this on Menorca Consciousness Group, Facebook. It'll send you the link. It's 300 pages. There's images, all sorts. And it's basically tells you what clairvoyance, trance, dreams, blah, blah, everything, mediumship, medium, spirit, spiritualism. So check it out. It's on the thing. It's fairly new. We finally managed to get it printed in October. It's not on Amazon anyway at the moment. It'll be going on there. Just the last couple of notices, if I may. Tomorrow, well, every week, every day throughout the week, Monday to Friday, we have a meditation session from 5 o'clock till 5:30. It's taken by Pauline Barnfather. She's absolutely amazing and beautiful. And we thank you so much for holding that space. You can find that every day on Menorca Consciousness Group. That's one. Tomorrow evening, I've got a live chat again. We're back. We're doing more chats. I don't know what Spirit's up to, but we've got more chats coming up. Tomorrow night is a chat with, it's part 2 with the lovely Tony Johansson, who's in Luxor in Egypt at the moment. And we'll be talking about letting go, part 2. We couldn't cover it all last week, so we decided to put part 2 on and go a bit deeper into it this tomorrow. The following, later on in the night, for those who are still awake, we've got a presentation, a live presentation with Laurie McHugh Smith with it's a new magazine. Some of you will know we're involved in it with Laurie. And it's different content with different authors and writers. Can you put your chats on YouTube? Yes, we can, Maxine. Edify Your Soul. There you go. Thank you. It's a new magazine what's come out. Laurie's in the States, and there's just different content writers, all to do with spiritualism and broad spectrum of things. That's amazing. Again, we've got Shanti, our dear friend, beautiful Shanti, who we'll be talking about Egypt again and the mysteries of Egypt. We've got, I don't know if it's a live coming up with it in the next couple of weeks. So please check everything out. Don't know about you, Stephen, but I hate these adverts. I feel like I'm a bloody TV presenter and I can't stand them. But it's like getting them out there, isn't it, I suppose. And Open Circle, we do have an Open Circle Sundays. It's a beautiful space. It's very respectful. Everybody's kind of, how can I put this? I can't tell you how the light shines in that one, guys. It's been going on since Zoom started, and it's amazing. It's open to everybody. And then Mondays, we may try and get the channeling back on, blah, blah, blah. We've got some courses coming up. We're going to be doing a workshop on spiritual guides, and we're looking at courses, and I think that's about it. Can't stand these lists. I could have just said that, Ava, thank you. I could have just said that, couldn't I? For company events, check out MCG. Anyway, that's lots gone. Wow. Thank you, everybody. Special thank you to yourself, Stephen. I think most people will agree. I've got to say, and I'm going to say it, I feel like it's been a blessing to everyone, and I think and your sense of humbleness and humility has really shone. I love it, absolutely love it, and I really appreciate it. We appreciate it. I want to say thank you to Ava for sorting everything out behind the scenes.
Thank
And hopefully we'll speak very soon then. Thank you to everybody.
Yeah.
If you stay on, Stephen, just for a minute if you can, and we'll just say bye to everybody. And that's it. Thank you. We'll see you all very soon, hopefully. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.